So what's up,
Yo,
go?
is the Ravens org dead?
So here's what I heard about Ravens. Here's Ben J Insight. I heard there's some shit going on with the parent company. Okay. I think there's a lot of interest in that spot, right? You probably saw the SSG stuff like a month ago, right? SSG is trying to maybe get that spot.
I'm all for any team that's going to come in. SSG proves they like hosting events. They look like an org that's going to care. We need to get these orgs that don't care out of the league.
I agree.
I do want to say, to play devil's advocate, I do think some of these orgs were a bit deceived in what they were pitched and what they were expecting. So I don't want to be like, wow, this org is like, because all these orgs started off good, you know what I mean? And then things happened and they went to minimum salaries. At the very least, they were competitive. Bro, this Royal Ravens team got robbed, man. They were paying Scraps and Wuskin and all these guys crazy money.
They got robbed because they were the ones offering that price and being morons. Okay, so they were so hold on, let me understand this. So Ravens, who were one of the biggest inflator of market prices in the first few years of the COD, they got robbed, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, you're more. I love you, Zin, but like they were part. Listen, realistically, that org was never ran that great. They chased UK talent and paid above market price that didn't need to get those players, and they inflated themselves out of the market
price though. Like they didn't. I don't think like it's not like Royal Ravens were the ones
they didn't have to offer.
Spiked.
Hold on, but they didn't have to offer Maddie this. They didn't have to offer Maddie the crazy second year money that they did. They didn't offer Wusk that money either.
I agree with that, but the landscape was different then, Ben. Like all these orgs were, I don't know like the proper word, but like it was at least like back then it was not insane. Like right, like let me say it like this: if Scraps and Wuskin and all those guys got paid their Royal Ravens salary in today's league, everyone would be like, "Yo, what the fuck's going on?" Back then, it was kind of normal. Like all these teams were paying very, very top dollar. And I'm not saying they got like robbed where it's like I feel bad for them, but it's a mixture of both because I do think a lot of orgs were pitched something that didn't end up actually being true.
I'm gonna be honest, Zin. Here's the thing. I hear what you're saying. I don't feel bad for any one of these owners. No one put a gun to their fucking head.
I don't feel bad for them.
And said you have to agree to join this league. They saw the pitch like any other venture capitalist or investment opportunity, and it's on their end. In a capitalist society, in a capitalist market that we have, to do their due diligence and understand the biggest problem in esports, which Mark Cuban has talked about at length. When you are one of these team owners or one of these team entities, you don't own the intellectual property for the game that you're playing on. You are just at best, a marketing end of the publisher. And you have to evaluate that's good for your business.
Yes, but okay. Operating and running a team is a bit more unique though, because usually if you're a venture capitalist, you understand the risk. You lose your money, you move on to the next thing. The thing about the league is now the people paying the price are the players and the staff members, right?
Yeah.
It's not as easy as, oh, okay, on to the next investment, because now you have this team that needs to be ran in a functioning league.
Yeah, that sounds like an investment in a burnery. It's like when you start a startup company, you have to pay salary for people. You have to pay real estate for your office. You have to pay vendors. It's like any other startup business.
I think they've given up. I think some teams have now given up on that investment and they want out.
Bro, it's pretty straightforward. I think what happened with the CDL and the OWL, like the very simple way to put it, is that Bobby and his friends, his billionaire friends, saw an opportunity with the upside of esports. Bobby was, like someone that, let's say like 2016, 2015, really, I think saw a potential upside in esports, right? Maybe Mike and Sonny would probably be the best people to talk about because they were involved in a lot of those like really, really early combos. Maybe I get Mike and Sonny on the flank and they could talk about it, or Adam. But Bobby saw that opportunity, and he has obviously a very rich guy, has a lot of rich friends. And at the time, prior to COVID, listen, you could take these VC risks because corporate debt could be restructured, and it wasn't like your exit cost of an investment wasn't as bad as it is now, right? And so they were willing to take the risk upside because a 10 or 100x or 1,000x opportunity was there down the line. The problem is COVID happened. The league wasn't ran that great. And so, things pivoted. But to say you feel bad for Carolina or London, they got screwed.
That was maybe wrong wording.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. I just think anyone that's willingly choose to sign up for the league and it doesn't work out, that's on them. It's an investment opportunity.
Yes, I agree with that. But what I'm saying now is the teams that have given up on their investment, the player, it's now the team and the players and the coaches and the managers that deal
really
with
everyone in the esports scene.
The sour side of that
said that
is what I'm saying now.
Microphone
yeah,
activated.
I mean,
like Ben, in a traditional world, these billionaires, they get pitched on so many things. They put $5 million into this. If it works, hell yeah. If it doesn't, they're on to the next. It's not as cut and dry with operating.
Well,
and
you know,
running
like
a team.
you know that like Elon, like there were crazy people that were pitched on the CDL. Like I know Elon was pitched on the CDL at one point. Like they did the normal like the run in, and I also hear you on the fact that like, you know, costs change. And I'll be honest, everything I've ever heard about Ravens from anyone that played there or worked there never said that management really understood the esports business or what they were doing. You know, that's the thing I always appreciate about, you know, someone like a Hector. I think Hector sees the board very well. I think he understands the business well. I think he understands the sponsor and partnership landscape. I think he understands the players. I think he understands the publisher. And so like the big business decisions, I think he navigates well. Like a lot of these entities came in and they've just never gotten it. And the problem with that Ravens entity is it changed hands about 2 times. It's been the CDL and the current
all their business models were spend as much money as possible, and there was like no thought of return. It was all like spend, salary, marketing firms, everything. Like, and at a certain point, like you're only going to get so much money from incoming sponsors. Like at some point, you're just burning. But
gas. I think what happened is that I'll say what I think a lot of like someone like Robert Kraft was thinking. I think he was talking to someone like Bobby, and Bobby said, look, we can really blow this thing up. It's a private market, not a public market for these franchise spots. So if there's additional outside interest, we set the market price as an entity, and we can basically 10x or 100x your investment. And for someone like Bob Kraft that's worth a couple billion, if he's spending $2 or $3 million a year in a burn rate, it's really nothing. That's a cup of coffee to him, essentially. So it's like, I think those guys are willing to take the risk. And then obviously things didn't work out and a lot of them got out. And the ones that are left, you have a lot of endemics, right? You got Nadeshot endemic. You've got Hector and his group endemic. You know, Paul Hamilton's not necessarily endemic, but he is kind of ish now, but he's partnering with FaZe, they're endemic. You know, like the people left are either really, really like have been there since the beginning for the most part in COD, or the people that like care passionately about the thing, you know? But I don't feel bad for Carolina, and I agree with you, Zen. Like whoever comes in, if it's SSG, for example, like they're going to try. It needs someone who's going to try. I hope it's SSG because they're going to actually like give it a go, you know? Yeah,
I mean, SSG, I mean, at least if they're anything near what they do in Halo, they want to host events. They're, you know, trying to build a fan base. Like, I just want orgs that care and try. And that's the unfortunate part of franchising is it just exposed a lot of the thoughts that people have. They thought they were going to come in, make a bunch of money, and sell or operate whatever, and then they've all lost money, and now they're all trying to sell or get rid of the team. Like they just all gave up. Or a lot of these teams gave up. NYSL is out. Carolina's obviously in a rough spot. Paris Legion is out.
Well, let's count through. Paris. I'm gonna say this.
Rocker's out.
I'll say this about Paris.
Rocker being out. Hold on, real quick. Yeah. Rocker being out tells you all you need to know because I think that organization cared so much, and they were doing everything they possibly could to properly grow the team. They were having local fan meets and activations. They were trying to host events. Like Rocker, in my opinion, is like proof that something disastrous happened because they cared more than a lot of these teams. And the
Rockers situation is a little more complex. So let's go situation by situation on the people that have actually exited.
Real quick, right? Rocker out, guys. I mean, like,
they're a silent partner in G2 now. They're still in esports, but they're not actively on it. Like the Wolf family's on the actual front foot of operating.
Like the original Rocker are not operating anymore.
I don't think Brett's involved anymore in esports, for example. Let's talk about the people that got out. Okay, Vegas. Listen, I will say this very early on. I was in the interview process to be the general manager of Paris Legion. And that was probably one of the worst interviews I've ever done in my entire life. I did it with the McCord family, and they had no idea what they were getting into. And the idea of what they wanted to do with the spot, they were completely lost. And they subsequently decided year one that this wasn't for them, and they just super tightened the belt. So fuck them. I'm glad they're out because they never really had a great idea on what they wanted to do with that business to begin with. The Rocker one is a little bit sad because I really liked every time I ever worked with the Rocker entity group, I always thought that they had a really good eye and a really good nose for what is best for COD. Like they were always on the right side of every league issue as far as what I think the fans and what the players want. Yeah. I think though the Wolf family actually found a better investment for them long term because they have, I think, have equity in G2. They still own that spot. I think they have like a complex operating agreement with G2 on that spot. They're still in, but they're a silent partner now. So like they'll get the upside later on in the business, but they've like protected their downside on the investment. NRG is an interesting one, but from my understanding, and this maybe a Hector thing, I from what I understand, that was an arranged marriage. And like you know what I'm saying, like for obvious reasons that have been very much discussed, that didn't work out, and so NRG got out. The old Opt OGLA people, glad they got out, because those have been never the best.
That was Mortals, right? Is Immortals still an org?
I think they're around, but everybody I know in esports has never. I've had dealings with Immortals, and I'll just say, like, I've never been a big fan of what's going on over there. They were a big offender of like expanding too fast into esports and not having a real business model on how they want to operate it, and so they weren't the best operators in the esports world. And then Subliners is interesting.
Subliners also seemed like they cared a lot, and they also sold. I mean, they had a whole. I'm not sure what's going on with Vindex now. I'm not sure if that's just like a.
They were never involved with. They were not an investor in Vindex, though.
What do you mean? Wasn't the parent company of New York Subliners Vindex?
No, they were one of an OG Vindex client. As far as I know, they were not a subsidiary of Vindex. I worked for Esports Engine. I think there were ties just because either Mike or Sonny, I think, was on the board of Subliners. I think
either way, that was what the Mets owner, and then what was his name, and then Farzam. And
all
but
it was a Wilpons.
Wilpons, yeah.
And then they wanted to. They then pivoted to more of a Web 2, Web 3 thing, because they were never. They had a decent idea of how to run their business, but I think they wanted to more be a talent agency. I think they identified pretty early that they wanted to try and do the Optic thing. It's just hard to do.
He said the Wilpons, those are my guys.
Well, here's my thing, Zen, because I think the best way to run it, I've had this conversation with Eric Anderson. I think the way that Hector runs it is like the right way to run a theoretical esports business, but it's hard to do. I think the best, and Adam App agrees with me on this, Zen. Adam and I had this combo. I think it's very tough to make a profitable esports team business. There are only a couple that do it, but I think the best way to do it is to merge, be an esports team and a talent agency at the same time. Because a talent agency is where you can actually bring in the real sponsor, partner, merch revenue streams, right? Like what you guys do over an Optic.
That's kind of the only way, if I'm being honest, as an esports. Because
at the moment, the only way, yeah.
And I am curious, like, what would have happened if COVID didn't happen and the original model did happen. And this is basically purely off guessing. Because orgs, I think, would have made decent amount of money hosting a lot of the tournaments they were supposed to host. That's where you would have got ticket sales, merch sales. At least that was their plan. Like, I'm curious as to what would have actually happened if that happened, because that not happening made them entirely rely on sponsorship dollars, merch sales, and obviously a lot of these new orgs weren't selling out merch. Rather, you had some teams more popular than others. Like I think when I joined Boston was doing well. I think Ultra was able to do well, but there were some teams like, and maybe I'm wrong, I doubt the Mutineers were selling out merch, and you know what I'm saying?
So you're saying if
COVID blows dick.
The FaZe logo is terrible. I think you're talking about if COVID never happened, like what would the league look like a year or two?
I think that shit is tough. Oh, you got to be lying.
Wait, who said?
Tom's got to be lying.
Wait, Tom Zuma just said that?
He's got to be lying.
Listen,
bro.
I love the FaZe boys, but I think that logo is not it.
I can't even describe it. Yeah, it's like Van
Halen. I listen, I don't want to be a hater. You know what I'm saying? I don't like being a hater. I just.
It's way worse than the prior, is what I'll say.
I think it could use some tweaks. I don't know, bro.
I do understand, like the. I'll tell you what, the top version is way better. I pray to God this entire thing isn't used here.
Tom, I think the biggest thing that logo needs is I think the straight like sans serif V doesn't have enough style to match the F side of it. I think it just needs like a couple of tweaks, like some more accent, maybe change the angle of the right side of the V. Like it's a really good concept to do the F and the V merge, but I think the way they've done it is just
Actually, hold on. The more I look at it, I don't mind. I hate this one where it actually spells out.
I think it just needs a little bit of tweaks.
This one on the jersey could be clean.
I would love to see what it looks like with two colors. I think if you can do if it's not a straight solid color, if you can do a really good two color, it'll make the V pop out and it might actually look nice. I just think,
I'm not lying. Why the fuck would I lie? I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I just want to.
I'm just saying, the more I look at it, I hate this, and this is like I do see this potentially being clean on a good jersey.
Yeah, I think the alt logo they potentially will never use. That's fine. Plenty of people register an alt logo they never use. Like you can you can go through US trademark and you'll see so many all logos for brands. I think the FV is not the best. I would love to see what it looks like with an actual color scheme.
Wait, hold on. Wait, what is this? Black Ops 7 may move up its release date?
Yeah, that's the word on the block.
To when?
Probably maybe a week or two before.
Whoa.
I don't think they're going to move it up that. I don't think they're going to go head to head with Battlefield. I think Battlefield comes out the middle of October?
I think that's what they're trying to do. If they move it up, they're trying to fuck with Battlefield.
Nah, but it would be suicide to do the same release date.
For COD?
Yeah, it'd be suicide.
Really?
Yeah, people aren't going to spend $160 on that. Why would this is Kanye 50 Cent. Like, I don't think it really benefits them. Like, if Battlefield's coming out on the 10th, like if they want to move it up, you move it to the 24th. You take 2 weeks.
No, yes, I definitely don't think you do the
people
same
are not going to
day,
spend $160 to buy both games.
Both games lose if they release within like the same couple days. Both games would lose.
Tommy Zuma in your chat, Tom, you really gotta think about it as more of a casual gamer than being just someone that grinds COD. Because you're going to give them the cash or get it for free or whatever, but like it's not a great position.
Battlefield's in a really good spot right now. I don't think. Like, Battlefield is big right now. Like, everyone's loving everything Battlefield has going on. Like, there's so much positivity around Battlefield, and then around Call of Duty, you have just so much negativity. So, I agree with Ben. I think both games win if there's at least like a 2 to 3 week buffer between releases.
So, I think there's an unwritten rule with publishers, especially of games of the same genre, they don't sit on the same release date. Like, think about when you've ever had big game releases. And just like it happens in the music industry, they try to steer clear when there's overlaps.
They're not dropping the same night.
You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit of an unwritten rule. And I think what COD probably is realizing is that late November with Thanksgiving and like sort of the holiday season might limit their ability to make more money Q4. They were worried about Battlefield like really getting 3 great weeks, and they may see that they can slide a week or two forward and maximize more revenue, which would actually be better for everyone involved because like what I was worried about in November was just the game will come out, you get a week, and then Thanksgiving, and it's just kind of like those 2 weeks have become so awkward.
I think Black Ops 7 needs to have a great beta. I feel like this beta is very important. Battlefield dropped a fantastic beta. I think COD needs to do the same. Like we need to switch the dialogue about Black Ops 7 to positivity because the reality is people just hate on COD these days to hate on COD. I'm a COD gamer through and through. I'm not hating on a game that's not out yet. Like some people choose to be like, that game's going to suck. I think that's silly. I think the game's going to be awesome, and then I'll change my opinion whenever we actually see it. I am going to COD next. Yep.
So I think like if they're sliding this date up from the 14th to say like the 31st of October or like the 7th, I think that's a W. Like I think that's good for everybody involved. It's going to get a lot more.
I gotta know, bro. I'm visiting my sister at the end of October in DC. I gotta fucking know when this game's coming out because we got the race to Master Prestige.
You might just send a text to Rob Taylor and see if you can, something.
Okay, he's definitely if they're changing the release date. They're definitely not telling me.
But they'll announce it next, though. If it's happening, they're gonna announce it in fucking on the 30th.
Yeah, listen. Then the trip gets canceled. It's very simple.
Listen, I got Ohio State games I gotta schedule around, brother. I got season tickets. Game coming out on Friday, and I got fucking chalk up a Saturday. I gotta go sell those tickets. Like those bitches are not cheap. But no.
Do you know if any other Optic boys are going to COD next? I'll let them tell you who's going.
But yeah, did you talk about the event stuff already? Did you talk about the UK shit?
Yeah, I'm not happy about Birmingham if that's true. Like, it's better than nothing, but I much, much, much prefer London. Birmingham, like even people that live in Birmingham don't talk highly of Birmingham. Yeah. But I do think it's better than no European event, right? And then Paris, I think, with Gentlemates being involved, I think, and especially Koi, I think... or not Koi, sorry, what the fuck am I saying? Gentlemates being involved, like a Paris event will go crazy.
Well, Koi would be Toronto, yeah.
A Spain event would be insane. Well, hold on, the Toronto one's actually bothering me because you won't find a bigger fan of Toronto than me, but no one wants to go to Toronto in the winter, bro. Like them hosting the season opener is not the smartest idea to bring people to Toronto because you can't do anything in Toronto during the winter.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you
it's gonna be fucking brick.
I'm gonna give you 2 reasons why I think that might be happening. One is they have gotten the good end of like almost every year deal as far as when their event runs. So like the Toronto event's always been in the spring, summer. And 2, I assume things are just cheaper in Toronto in the winter.
Oh, I'm sure.
So they're gonna save a few bucks by doing it. I mean, it won't be that, bro. If it's at like Maname or what's that arena that's in Liberty Village? Is that where the Marlies play?
I don't know.
Yeah, either way, it'll still be fine. It'll be brick, but like, it's not like it'll be brick, but like, there's still shit to do in Toronto.
Brick.